Hi, my name's Jack Hodgkins and I'm here today with the Apprenticeship and Skills Hub team to talk about apprenticeships with employers. So, Lexy, what is an apprenticeship?
So an apprenticeship is essentially combining a real job with a qualification for an employee, so you can upskill or take on new talent within your business. So it's an opportunity for you to develop your business through government funding. It combines the on-the-job learning for the employee whilst bringing new skills or upskilling for your current employees. So apprentices must have a contract of employment and holiday leave, and you must pay them at least minimum wage, which we'll talk about a bit further on. And apprenticeships last between 1 and 6 years, depending on the level and the subject that best matches your business.
So, Emily, can you let me know the benefits to the employer?
Yeah, absolutely. So apprenticeships have fantastic benefits as an employer. So programs can be sector focused. So as an employer, you can have the opportunity to be part of the design of the program to ensure that it meets both the needs of your business and the apprentice that you take on or support through a program. They are government funded, so it's a cost effective way to bring training and new skills into the business. And current employees have the opportunity to gain experience in training and mentoring. So whether that's them taking on an apprenticeship opportunity themselves or supporting the training and mentoring of a new apprentice coming into the business. As an employer, it allows you to increase capacity and productivity within your teams and develop that loyal and talented workforce while supporting the training needs of your employees. And it allows you to work and help to tackle youth unemployment. You can have the opportunity to get to know and work with young people prior to recruiting them, and make sure that you are recruiting the right people for your business.
Thank you. And Carol, as an employer, what's involved?
Okay, so the key thing for an employer is that you need to commit some additional time. So the first thing you need to do is to employ that apprentice. So if it's a new member of staff, you need to give them a contract of employment for the duration of the apprenticeship, and they need to be paid at least the minimum wage. If it's an existing member of staff, obviously you just need to agree with them their commitment to do the programme, and alongside your commitment and any additional support required from a line manager or mentor. On that note, an apprentice has to be assigned a key member of staff to either mentor them or line manage them, and that's just to ensure that on a day-to-day basis they're clear on what their job role is, but also to give them some support, advice and guidance to help them complete the apprenticeship programme. They need to be given additional time for training and to study. Within the apprenticeship standards programmes at the moment, 20% of the working week has to be allocated to off-the-job training. Now that 20% will incorporate a day release day at college. It will also incorporate any time spent mentoring or attending meetings, anything at all that involves additional learning around their apprenticeship programme. Along with that, you're just passing on your skills and knowledge to that person, and just supporting them through on a day-to-day basis and giving them the time to do the apprenticeship programme. At the end of it, hopefully, you've got a really dedicated member of staff that you can consider moving them into a permanent role with a change of contract.
Thank you. And Lexi, you mentioned it earlier, but what are the rates of pay that I would have to pay the apprentice?
So it sort of depends on the level and the standard really, but normally minimum wage for an apprentice is £4.15 per hour, but you may want to offer higher depending on their age, their needs, their level, etc. Hours are usually a minimum of 30 hours a week, and they say for a day, off the job training, and like Carol said, that could be blended like throughout the week or a day release. So it really does depend on the level and the standard that you offer. But we can advise you on that, so feel free to chat to us on what you should be offering to them.
Thank you. And Emily, Lexi just mentioned about levels. Can you let me know what levels there are to apprenticeships?
Yeah, absolutely. So apprenticeship levels range from level 2 right through to level 7. So level 2 we say is equivalent to a GCSE level, and level 7 right up to a master's degree. So there's plenty of opportunity as an apprentice to progress right up to degree level. Now it will depend on the subject that you choose and the your previous experience and the level that you're currently at as to what level you may go in at but there's progression opportunities in all programs for you to progress right up to those degree levels if that's what you choose.
Thank you. And Carol, what sort of training or assessments are involved with an apprenticeship?
Okay, so an apprenticeship now follows a particular standard. Within those standards, there are 3 key areas of learning: skills, knowledge, attitudes and behaviours. Now, the apprenticeship standard is broken down in different areas. So the main area of learning is work-based learning. So all of the learning happens in the work, during work time, in the workplace, and they're learning every second of the day when they're doing the job you're employing them to do. Alongside that work-based training is competency training. So the apprentice will have a dedicated tutor or a trainer who will set them up with a portfolio of work. Now, they're going to be completing regular assessments and logging it in their portfolio, giving evidence of how they perform certain elements of their day-to-day job. Their tutor will keep an eye on their portfolio work. They'll be in the background to support them if necessary, as is their line manager mentor. But at the same time, the tutor will actually come and visit them in the workplace every 6 to 8 weeks just to observe them. So the whole time that apprentice is learning, they're gaining the fundamental skills within that particular business environment. So as well as gathering evidence in their portfolio, doing work-based evidence, observations and professional discussions, along with their 20% off-the-job training, it's all collated together in their portfolio of works. Towards the end of the apprenticeship, they move into what's called Gateway. So they're having regular meetings with their tutor, they're having all of their work assessed and marked. The tutor will be having conversations with their line manager mentor just to get some feedback on how things are going. But every apprentice now has to complete an endpoint assessment. This endpoint assessment is carried out by an external verification body, has no connection whatsoever with the training provider. And that endpoint assessment can involve a variety of exercises. So it could be a combination of looking at your portfolio work. They might be required to give a presentation. They might be asked to do some sort of project within their apprenticeship standard. Whatever it is, they'll have prior notice of that and plenty of time to prepare for it. And the endpoint assessment will be graded, pass, merit or distinction.
Thank you. Lexy, is there any funding or incentives or any possible help that I can get before employing or upskilling a member of staff?
Yeah, so we can chat to you about what funding options are out there. There's lots of different funding available to you depending on the size of your business and who you employ. So if you're an SME and a non-levy payer, you may be entitled to full funding from the government if you take on or upskill an apprentice between the ages of 16 and 18. Or you only need to co-invest 5% of the training costs, which the government funding will obviously pay for as well, which is the remaining 95%. We also support with levy transfer for larger businesses. So you might want to use your unspent levy to support smaller businesses. And there are also really great monetary incentives available that you might be eligible for. So have a chat with us. We can advise you on what's available out there and on the process that entails as well.
And Emily, is there any other options to apprenticeships?
Absolutely. So as a business, if you feel that you're not quite ready for an apprenticeship, there are a number of different programs that you could consider. So things like traineeship and kickstart programs. These include things like work placements and opportunity for long-term kind of offers to young people that you can potentially then get to know them. And it may be that you feel that you can take them on as an apprentice at a later date.
Thank you. And Carol, what's next if I'm looking to hire or upskill a current member of staff?
Okay, so next stages. So the best thing to do is make contact with an Apprenticeship or Skills Hub advisor, and we will talk you through the entire process and support you all the way through. So how it would work is we would work with you to identify the business need or the skills gap within your particular industry or in your business. Once we've identified that, we would match that particular job role with an approved apprenticeship standard. Once we've done that, we will work with you to source a suitable provider that can deliver that chosen standard in a format that works best for your business. Once we've identified and we've introduced you to that provider, there's a couple of things we may need to do. If you're an SME and you're going to be responsible for the funding element of the apprenticeship standard, we will work with you and support you to set up a digital account online with the government. This is so that we can reserve the funds for the apprenticeship programme, and then once it's in place and the apprenticeship provider has been selected, those funds can actually be transferred through to the provider to pay for the apprenticeship training. Also, if we decide that there is a cost element to you as an employer, rather than you have to pay the 5% co-funding, we would actually look to do some levy transfers. So either look to your local council or look to the Hub's Transfer to Transform scheme, where we can actually use an organisation's levy funds. Again, we would need to be able to have that DAS account set up so that we could transfer those funds through to that account. Once that's all set up, basically it's over to the provider. They will either start the recruitment process for you or they'll do the registration for an existing member of staff. They'll complete a skills analysis with that individual to make sure and ensure that sufficient learning will take place in the apprenticeship. If it's for a new member of staff, over to you to conduct the interviews or complete the internal application process. Once you've found the right person, make the offer and get them started on their apprenticeship programme. Whatever happens all the way through from start to finish, if you work with the Hub, we will support you right the way through to the provider, and then the provider will take over and support you from there.
That's great to hear that there's so much support. And Lexy, where would I be able to contact the Hub?
Yep, so you can visit our website, which is www.theapprenticeshiphub.com. We've just launched our new live chat function as well, so you can speak to the team instantly, Monday to Friday, and you can visit our social media channels on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or email us at hello@theapprenticeshiphub.com.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for asking my questions.
Bye.